Good morning, everyone. I think this is a fine time for us to go ahead and get started. We're a couple minutes past 10. We want to be respectful of everybody's time today. So welcome to Workforce Development in the Post-COVID-19 Environment, answers to your most frequently asked business questions. So we thank everybody who submitted questions for today's presentation. We have an excellent panel, part of our business services team here today to help go over some of the questions that were asked. So what is the business services team? We know a lot of you have questions about what we are. We are a team of we're a collaborative effort of workforce development agencies located in Lawrence County. And our job is to help our businesses within Lawrence County grow. Where our objective is to create a holistic customer service approach that aligns community resources aimed at meeting the workforce needs of our employers. And we have a myriad of different agencies that are part of our business services team. So why don't we take a moment and just meet your BST?
Okay, I'm Rich Peretta, Department of State, BWPO. We have staff here on the premises, and we assist employers, we assist clients, we assist employers with job orders, setting them up on CWDS. It's free to the clients, free to you. We have other programs, RESEA, we have trade, and then we assist and refer clients to our private partners. So do a lot of things, and we can help you in many, many areas that you might need assistance with. And I have a nice, great staff, LVR, a vet rep, career advisors, and we work very, very well as a team with the overall CareerLink.
Thank you very much, Rich. Good morning, Frank.
Good morning. My name is Frankzielinski. I'm the local Veterans Employment Representative for Lawrence and Mercer counties. I help translate military skills to civilian occupations and provide specific program information on the benefits of hiring targeted veterans. Some of these programs include Work Opportunity Tax Credit. This is a tax credit incentive to hire targeted individuals with employment barriers. This is a one-time tax credit for each new hire. There is no limit to the number of new hires who qualify for this tax credit. OJT, employers may be eligible to receive up to 50% wage reimbursement for hiring targeted individuals and training them in high priority occupations. Apprenticeship programs. There is no cost to the employer to establish a registered apprenticeship program. The state can offer technical assistance to help employers create their own program that is suitable to their needs. And federal bonding provides a fidelity bond for at-risk, hard-to-place job seekers. The bonds cover the first 6 months of employment at no cost to the applicant or the employer.
Thank you, Frank.
You're welcome.
Rebecca Motor, good morning.
Good morning. I'm Rebecca Motor. I'm the coordinator of West Central Job Partnerships, Operations and Special Projects Division. I work mostly with our competitive grants, which are industry partnership funding, the American Apprenticeship Initiative, and our state local internship program. And I also do our outreach and social media.
Thank you very much. Good morning, Paul.
Thank you, Colleen. I'm Paul Bulcherelli. I'm a consultant with the Duquesne University Small Business Development Center, SBDC. I work out of the chamber office in downtown Newcastle. I help people who either want to become entrepreneurs and open a business, or I help existing business owners who want to grow their business with things like developing business plans, helping you do financial projections, help you with marketing research. Just a couple of new exciting things at the Duquesne SBDC. We recently became 2 different kinds of centers of excellence. One would be technology commercialization. If you have a tech idea, but you don't know how to commercialize it, we can help you with that. In fact, there's a series of webinars this fall called From Idea to Reality, and they're free, and you can learn a lot about our services there. There's another center of excellence that we're going to be called Healthy Workplace. We've hired a consultant that can help you with things like employee wellness, healthy benefits, occupational safety, stress management, all of those kinds of things that'll be important in the post-COVID world.
Great. Thank you very much, Paul. Good morning, Linda.
Good morning. I'm Linda Nitch, and I'm the Director of Economic Development here at the Lawrence County Chamber, located at 325 East Washington Street in Newcastle. We are here to help businesses thrive as well as to strengthen our community. Ways in which we help businesses thrive are by meeting with our local businesses. Staff here have a program called Engage, where we really meet with you and have a comprehensive way of learning about how your business needs are and how we can discuss the better ways to approach those needs, whether it's company growth, business threats, product innovation, competition, even workforce. Here at the Chamber, through the LCEDC, the Lawrence County Economic Development Corporation, which is affiliated with the Chamber, we offer loan programs at low interest rates to help you purchase your land and buildings, your machinery and equipment. And most recently, we've worked with the state regarding working capital for our businesses due to COVID. We also market the county to attract new businesses to our county. And finally, here at the Chamber, we are doing a strategic planning process called Forward Lawrence, and you're going to hear a lot more about that. But our goal is to unify our county with a successful plan of growth.
Thank you, Linda. I'm up. I'm Colleen Chamberlain. I'm the site administrator at the PA CareerLink Lawrence County. We're in our new building here at the Central Building in downtown Newcastle, 101 South Mercer Street. We moved in August. So if you haven't been down to our new facility, come on down and check it out. Some of the things that we can offer to our employers are free job postings, labor market information, candidate assessment. So if you need to do some skills testing for a candidate, we are more than happy to provide those for you. We do the job fairs, although right now we're working on virtual job fairs due to the COVID situation. We have monthly meetings on HR topics with our Employer Advisory Council, and those are the second Friday of every month. We also assist job seekers with job search, and we can assist our employers with how to word their job postings to help the job searchers find your open positions. One of the things that we like to really promote for our employers here is that you can do resume screening free through our PA CareerLink website, pacareerlink.pa.gov. We work very closely with several of our partners, especially BWPO, and we look forward to working with you, our employers, at our new location. Good morning, Terry.
Good morning, this is Terry Warren. I'm a job developer at the PA CareerLink in Lawrence and Mercer County. There are essentially two programs that I'd like to briefly describe. The first is the on-the-job training program. This is a program which is available to all employers and provides a 50% wage reimbursement for a designated number of hours, usually anywhere from 400 hours to 1,000 hours, depending on the job and the experience of the person being hired. The second program is the Work Experience program. Work Experience involves placing participants between the ages of 16 and 24 into public or private nonprofit agencies, as well as private for-profit businesses for clerical or maintenance positions.
Thank you, Terry. Jillian Mall, you're up.
Hi, good morning, everybody. I'm Jillian Mall. I'm the Executive Director at Adult Literacy Lawrence County, and we also go by the title Lifelong Learning Choices. We provide free adult education classes for residents working to attain their high school equivalency or to upgrade their maths and literacy skills, either for employment purposes or to enter post-secondary education or training. Classes are available mornings and evenings. We also offer ESL classes, that's English as a second language. For students unable to attend classes, we strive to connect them with a volunteer tutor to support their learning. And finally, we also work in partnership with employers to address specific workplace needs, and that is a fee-for-service program. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Jillian. Melanie DeVincentis.
Good morning, I'm Melanie DeVincentis, Workforce Specialist with the Lawrence County Learning Center. The Learning Center is soon to be located on the second floor of the Central Building above CareerLink. Renovations are nearly complete for our new physical location, which will boast 2 full-size classrooms, renovated computer lab, and office space. The Lawrence County Learning Center is a free community workforce resource. We are available to host training and education for local businesses and organizations physically in our classrooms and computer lab, virtually from our space, or we can coordinate with training and education providers to develop training services on site at the location of your choice.
Thank you, Melanie. And finally, do we have Charmaine Jackson here with us this morning? Charmaine, you are muted.
Good morning. Hi, can you hear me?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, great. Good morning. I'm Charmaine Jackson. I work for the Pennsylvania Office of Vocational Rehabilitation. And basically, we can assist employers by providing job-ready customers for their employment needs. These individuals may also be eligible for on-the-job training and work opportunity tax credit programs, as Frank and Terry discussed earlier. We're also excited to share that we are working on hosting our first virtual job fair soon, and I will provide information on this as soon as possible.
Thank you, Charmaine.
Welcome.
All right, so let's get started with today's presentation, Workforce Development in the Post-COVID-19 Environment, Answers to Your Most Frequently Asked Business Questions. Again, if you have questions during the course of today's presentation, please type them into the chat box. And when we get to the Q&A at the end of today's presentation, you can use the raised hand icon at the bottom of the participants list in order to raise your hand for us to call on you for your questions. Our first question is, do you feel businesses will continue with safety training? And if so, do you think it will be face-to-face or online? Melanie, could you answer that one for us, please?
Yes, and what I can say is OSHA does allow for the use of online safety training to satisfy some of their safety requirements. However, use of computer-based training alone would not be sufficient to meet most OSHA requirements. Traditional hands-on training is still preferred. Proper training that includes the ability to ask in a timely manner of a certified trainer questions as you're learning the new safety skill or updating those skills. Therefore, yes, I do believe safety training will continue. In speaking with a local safety manager at one of our larger companies in the county, they are continuing with their face-to-face trainings, but to satisfy some of the COVID CDC requirements, they're doing more frequent courses with smaller groups of people. So the face-to-face sessions are continuing and are recommended to continue. More content-based training can be distributed online for the learners. In terms of COVID safety specifically, I will put up in the comments at the end of our discussion here a link to the COVID-19 Safety and Training Health Topics page from the Department of Labor. So if you have more specific COVID questions, that should be answered in that format.
Very good. Thank you so much, Melanie.
You're welcome.
Our next question is, what procedures do I need to take to reopen my business, and where can I find more information? Paul.
Thank you. So, maybe some of you have already reopened your business, but if not, the cdc.gov site is probably one of the better sites to go to, but you are going to notice that you're going to have to do some new things when you open your business. So, first of it is becoming aware of, what COVID is and how to mitigate some of those situations. So such things that we already know about, like wearing a mask, perhaps providing face shields for people, even things like medical gowns or gloves. You may have, to some extent, you may take temperatures as employees come in. There's no hard and fast rules there. A lot of it's going to be to create awareness with your employees themselves to sort of self-assess every day. And if they are feeling sick or have a fever or have been around anyone with COVID, they need to self-quarantine or at least go home for that day. As an employer, you may want to also think about putting up signs with this information to reinforce the fact that, it's a new paradigm and you have to operate differently. You probably want to have cleaning and disinfectant supplies, throughout your operation, and encourage people to do things as basic as wash their hands. In terms of your employees themselves, you want to keep the number of workers that gather at any one time relatively small. You have to understand the symptoms of COVID, as we talked about, and you want to have a plan in advance for dealing with COVID. Something as basic as, if you're going to take someone's temperature, you may not want to do it in a public venue and potentially embarrass anybody. So you may have to have a room dedicated where you could take some potentially with symptoms, put them in that room till you decide how to proceed, and then, treating them respectfully, of course, determine how to deal with it from there. So those are a few of the things that I would recommend, but I think the cdc.gov site is critical. At a state level, and you'll hear me reference these websites a couple of times today, governor.pa.gov and then dced.pa.gov. Those are both excellent state of Pennsylvania sites that give you a lot of information about how to deal with COVID and where you can find resources to help.
Very good. Thank you very much, Paul. How can we as employers connect with veteran job seekers? Frankzielinski.
Yes. The staff at the Pennsylvania CareerLink are all trained to identify targeted veterans. Even though we're working from home in different states, really, we can, between Rich Peretta, Dave Kowalczyk, Ryan Paglia, and all the staff members, they're getting me that information. Once we get a veteran job ready to get out there, the resume sent to myself, and then I start lobbying to employers that fit that specific talent that veteran has. If you are looking for a specific veteran, for a specific talent, you just got to reach out to me. You reach out to me and you'll see my information at the end of the slide presentation. I can tell you who we're working with and what we got. And we're working the veteran program real strong. During this pandemic time period, I'm really proud of the way the team is helping me get what I need to do my job to help the veterans.
Very good. Thank you, Frank. And as a reminder, if you can't get a hold of Mr. Zielinski, you can always get a hold of any of us here at the PA CareerLink, and we'll be happy to pass the information on to Frank. Our next question is, what workforce training incentives are currently available? So we're going to have Terry Warren and Rebecca Motor both answer this question. And you're both muted.
Sorry about that. I work with the on-the-job training program and the work experience programs. The on-the-job training program, as I said earlier, was a 50% wage reimbursement to employers for jobs paying at least $10 an hour or full-time, at least 30 hours a week. And how that basically works for the employer is you make that hiring decision from a pool of applicants that you actually have or you get from either our system, the PA CareerLink system, your website, or any other system that you're using. Once you get those individuals in and you determine the individual that you want to hire, you simply send that information to me, that person's name, their phone number, their email address, and remind them that we're going to be contacting them because we have to determine whether that person is eligible or not for the program. All applicants that you send to us have to be eligible, and this is very important, before they actually start working for the employer. So if an employer calls and says, hey, I want to start somebody, I started them yesterday, can we put them in a program? We can't do that. We actually have to have the application in and done and ready and do certain things on our end before we can actually start them. Once that eligibility is completed, you'll receive actually 3 forms from me. One's a rating form, which determines the amount of hours that will be reimbursed. The other one will be a contract, which actually designates the hours allotted for training, the amount to be reimbursed, and an invoice period. And the third form would just be simply an invoice. And that's the form that you as an employer would actually send in to me. You track that person's hours and evaluate that employee's progress for that OJT program. And that's basically the extent of it for OJT. The other program that I wanted to just kind of briefly describe is the work experience program. West Central Job Partnership is actually the employer of record and looks to place clients between the ages of 16 and 24 into like maintenance and clerical positions. The clients are paid like $10.15 an hour, and the employer utilizing the program has to complete an agreement with us, and they have to have up-to-date liability insurance. A contract will be prepared for each client that is placed with that employer. Generally, each client gets up to 28 hours a week for a total of 392 hours. There's a few preliminary things that we have to do if you're using these programs. And what I would suggest is just email me or call me, and I can send you that information ahead of time and explain it even in more detail if you'd like. Or if you have questions today, feel free to ask.
And this is Rebecca Motor. I just wanted to mention our American Apprenticeship Initiative program. We have grant funding not only to help offset some of the training costs for registered apprenticeship programs, but also to help manufacturers who want to establish registered apprenticeship programs develop those. So if anyone has an interest in that, please reach out to me.
Thank you very much. Our next question, how can I better recognize COVID-19 scams? Rich Peretta.
And I'm unmuted here. This is a very broad question, so I'm just going to try to hit upon it. And I made some notes because I don't want to miss anything. Just to let you know, scammers use personal information from sources outside of labor and industry to apply for a number of benefits. One of the most recent ones that have had significant amount of scams in Pennsylvania and other states is the Pandemic Unemployment Assistance, the PUA. What you want to do is you want to make sure you check on your credit reports regularly, make sure you have correct credit history, verify inquiries on your credit report, always look over credit card charges as well as debit card charges to see if someone is actively, seeking information that you have. The other thing is if you receive a direct deposit in your account, and it's something that you didn't apply for, it didn't just appear out of the wind, receiving checks in the mail from the state of Pennsylvania, that's usually what happens with the PUA, and that was part of the scam in Pennsylvania going on. The Rely card, a credit card, debit card received in the mail, those are all indications that someone applied in your name for benefits that you may not have applied for. And you want to make sure that you contact the state immediately. There is a website. It's the www.uc.pa.gov, and it's report fraud. And on that page, there are a number of things. I'm going to have Colleen include that link on the email that she sends you back today. But that particular site identifies if you get a Rely card, if you get a debit check in the mail, a regular check in the mail, you immediately have to contact them and tell them you did not apply. And this isn't just for clients. Business people in Lawrence County, specifically a few, have received checks in the mail for the amount of $10,000, $15,000 for benefits that they did not apply for. And then they immediately contacted us and we gave them the link on how to get that check back to the state, get their name off of that account, and then make sure they check all their other avenues to make sure that they're not being scammed in other areas. So there are ways to get all those things back, because you don't want to be paying taxes at the end of the year on something that you didn't receive. Other scams come in the way of someone obtaining your access to CWDS, which is PA CareerLink site, your Indeed, your career builders, and setting up a fake contact to be able to post jobs. So what they would do is somehow get a contact onto your site on any of these particular job searching sites, post jobs that you don't know about, get about 100 applications and get personal information and maybe even ask these people for money. So I'm just cautioning you to be aware of what contacts are on your CWS site and making sure those are valid people. When someone leaves, let us know so we can delete that person, and make sure that if it is a third party is one of the most protected areas that we try to watch. Is when you assign a third party to handle your jobs, make sure you validate that third party, and also make sure you let us know that it's a valid added addition to your website, and we'll also vet them. And then protecting your sign-on and passwords. That's a thing that happens all the time. Make sure you make it something harder. Make sure you don't give your password or sign on to someone else, even another employee. If you want to get them on there, we'll add them as a contact. Check your company contacts often, delete ones that aren't in there. There are so many bits of information out there. The federal government has a nice website on scams. I don't subscribe to AARP normally, but I did get one here recently on how to take care of scams. They're everywhere. Many, many sites are helping you try to prevent scams. I don't know who sent me that AARP one. I don't think I'm old enough for that. But anyhow, thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Rich. This one I'm going to go ahead and answer. Under the governor's order, group gatherings are limited to 25 people indoors or no more than 50% of the area's maximum occupancy limit, whichever is lower. Would you please provide a better understanding of the maximum occupancy limit? Is it square footage or is it just a number, and how do I find it for my facility? So your maximum occupancy limit is issued under the National Fire Codes. So usually the one who's responsible for determining your maximum occupancy limit would be a building code official. Not all municipalities in Lawrence County have a building code official. And for instance, the city of Newcastle doesn't provide you with a maximum occupancy limit. They can, if you request it. They have a group that they work with that can go out and do a site assessment for you and determine what your maximum occupancy limit is, but they don't automatically issue those certificates for structures. In some municipalities, they will, so you just need to check with your local municipality to find out if the building authority issues those occupancy limits. In general, for commercial construction, the occupancy limits are based on square footage, as well as whether or not there are any other furniture within the building. So for office space, the occupancy load in general is about 1 person per 100 square feet of gross floor area. And the other number that you're looking at is the size of the doors for egress or for exit out of the room or building. And the maximum is 50 people per foot of exit. So if you have a 6-foot exit door, you can have up to 300 people, or 150 right now under the 50% maximum occupancy. One thing to keep in mind is those numbers are assuming that there's no furniture, that it's standing room only. So those numbers obviously reduce based on any desks or tables or any other furniture that's in the room. So no, it's not just a number. It's not an arbitrary number. But if you want an accurate number, you do need to call your local building authority and ask them to send somebody in to assess your area. Do you have any ideas on how to motivate employees in the virtual environment? Paul Bucciarelli.
Thanks, Colleen. So, we all had been used to maybe working home occasionally in the past, but now it's been more mandated to us, so it's a little different. Part of what you have to understand is your employees are social creatures in most cases, and we work, we're used to collaborating with our colleagues, and in a virtual environment, it doesn't happen as much. So as a manager, it's probably important to figure out how to get people to interact. So a couple of ideas could be, you may want to schedule a sort of a fun non-business lunch periodically where you just have kind of a lunch, but not learn, and no one talks business, for a half an hour, maybe every other Friday. Some companies are going to sort of a virtual happy hour on Friday evening that, can be helpful. But the one thing you don't want to do is mandate that people attend these things. If you make it voluntary, it's going to be a lot more well received. The other thing you can do is acknowledge to your employees that you want them to continue to, maintain a healthy work environment. Encourage them to do such things as keep up a routine. In other words, take your coffee break when you normally would, take a walk or go somewhere at lunchtime, leave home to sort of get out of that environment, at least for some part of the day. Because a lot of people, during this pandemic, they suffer from loneliness, they suffer from feeling disconnected. So there are ways to, help mitigate that as well. This was a tip I hadn't thought of, but in terms of motivation, it'd be a good idea to tell everybody to really spend a lot of time keeping your calendar up to date, because even things like your lunch, that calendar, I heard it referred to as your source of truth. If people want to find you, they should be able to go to your calendar and know where you are, and that'll help keep employees motivated as well. So those are just some of the ideas that I wanted to share.
Excellent ideas. Thanks for the input, Paul. Our next question, where can I find more resources for helping small businesses in Pennsylvania? Linda Nitsch and Paul Bucciarelli.
Well, there certainly are a number of websites that I would suggest that you go to. I think that is a great starting point. And one that I recommend is, of course, the Chambers. It's lawrencecounty.com, and it has links to a variety of other websites. Our Pennsylvania Department of Community and Economic Development has a variety of different programs that you'll be able to investigate off of their website. You can also call our office, and that information will be at the end of the presentation. And feel free to really use us. We have a staff that has some deep knowledge of programs that have been around for a long time, and we can certainly try to help you. If we don't know the answer, we usually know someone who does. The PA Chamber has a good website also, and it's more broad-based, more at, I'll say, the federal level and that macro level to a great degree. If you're looking for regional information, the Allegheny Conference on Community Development in Pittsburgh also provides a good deal of information. And finally, just this morning, I received an email from Northwest Regional Planning, and they actually have a new loan program out that may be of interest to you. And they can, again, be reached through their websites. Paul?
Yeah, thanks, Linda. And certainly the SBDC is a resource specifically, targeted to small businesses. But, we offer everything from seminars. The Duquesne SBDC website is really a wealth of information. There are a lot of blog articles. There are a lot of links to, agencies that can help. And that is sbdc.duq.edu. And certainly I work in the chamber office with Linda Nitch and Alex McCoy. I'm available. You can call me at the same number that you would reach the chamber, and I'll be glad to help you in a one-on-one setting if you want to become a Duquesne client. Still getting a lot of questions around the programs that were out there for grants and loans, in the early stages of the COVID crisis. So anything that I think is valuable to my client base, I am forwarding and sharing and offering my help to. So certainly give us a call and we're willing to help.
What are my options if I want to keep staff working, but I don't have enough business to keep them all busy? Linda Nitch.
I think that's a great question, and one that I researched and came up with a number of ideas really from the University of Pittsburgh. The thoughts would be, what is going on now that you could actively have employees working on? What's your website look like? Is it time to check its accuracy? We all suffer from typos and broken links, current information. Great time to think about what you could have staff doing now. Another idea is to think back. Now would be a great time to examine data on customer service, on programs or projects that you worked on in the past. Did you really meet your goals? How might you have improved things? Time for a good discussion with the staff to think about that. Another thought is, let's go forward. Let's think ahead. Strategic and long-term planning, it's rare that we have these opportunities to give a time to strategy. There are a number of resources that are out there to help you, but you can certainly look at your planning documents, review them, maybe reach out to some consultants in your line of work and ask for their assistance too. Next, it's time to think deep. How about diving deeply into your systems? I'm going to say it's time for a good fall clean. What's that email account look like that has thousands upon thousands of emails in it? Or how about your own paper files? Is it time to really shred them, as somebody must have been doing there behind Colleen? And finally, it's time to think about growth. All of us have our various certifications and continuing education programs that would be of value to both your personnel as well as your business. Think about all that.
Okay, thank you very much. So this is a dual-ended question for Rich Peretta. Our business has increased due to the pandemic, but we are having trouble finding workers. How can I get the word out that we are hiring? And also, we had a higher than expected number of employees retire this year due to the pandemic, and we need to replace most of them. So what are some options to conduct a mass recruitment? Rich?
Okay, I made some notes on this so I don't miss anything here, but I'll try to address both questions here and try to keep it short. business increased and you want to get the word out that you're hiring, well, first of all, if you are a registered employer on our PA CareerLink, we or you can post jobs on our website that best suit your needs. We can post a job description, wages, range of wages, which I always recommend. Competitive wages usually get you some applicants, but we always like to have a range so people do see what's available to them and where they might fit into. The event, date, and location. You could have an event and we could make sure we post a job and also a list of where your event is. We have a couple right now going on and I think one's in Hermitage, but we're advertising it in Lawrence County, but the event's in Hermitage, but we're telling our people this is where the event is, but they can also apply for the job. And did I forget to say the word free? The PA CareerLink website is free to the employer, free to the client. We're using state funds, state revenue, and federal assistance, I'm sure, in the background there. You can have the applicant email the resume to you, link it to a website, call a phone number, mail or visit a location, or all those items you can have on your job order. You can suit that to your needs. You can plan a special event. Just in the past here, and I don't like to mention company names, but Gabe's and FedEx had large events here in the past. In fact, even during pandemic, and we were able to post a job, list the event, and they had events up at the Hampton Inn in Newcastle, and FedEx had it at their location down in the Harmony, Pittsburgh area. And we can post that and note that and try to get our clients contacted. Once it's posted, we can, any job seeker in Pennsylvania and in Ohio and any state that has access to our site can see that job order. Normally, it's going to be a county surrounding us, Mercer, Beaver, Butler, the Ohio line. You'd be surprised how many people from Ohio get into our website and look for jobs. Then we advise the CareerLink staff and nearby career links around us that we have a job event going on, or we have a specific job that they might have someone that they might be able to refer. So we do share with our partner staff, CareerLinks in the area. Normally Lawrence and the surrounding. We then advise through flyers. We advise through other means of our site. We attach flyers to emails that we send out. If you're not registered on PA CareerLink, I can help you get registered on our CareerLink and post jobs. I think so far this year, we've added about 29, take that back, 29 are the new numbers. We added 29 new employers to our website. And it only takes about 30 minutes to get you set up initially and another 15, 20 minutes to get that job order up and running. If it's someone that's outside our area and we're not familiar, we have to do a vetting of them to make sure they are who they say they are and be able to make sure that's a valid company that's posting on our site. The job order can take about 15 minutes and I can help you with that. If you want to post your own, we can get you access to do that also. And remember what I said, it's free to you and the client, and there are very minimal, there's no pop-ups, and it's very, very secure. And I'll try to address your other one. Higher than expected number, what are some options to conduct a mass recruitment? Well, as I mentioned, you could post that job and set up an event that we can note on our site, let our staff know. We can help you create some flyers and we can help get that flyer out to the public. Recently, we've been working on getting emails out to recent unemployed in the last 3 to 4 to 5 months and get that email out to them, let them know, hey, here's an event coming up. Here's some other jobs out there. It might not totally suit you, but you'd be surprised. People talk. They might, the grandmother might refer that to her grandson or their daughter or their children and make sure that they say, hey, there's an event going on. You should go down there and apply for that job. You'd be surprised how grandparents get a good insight into this. So we can do that for you. Let me see if I missed anything here. We also can provide events at our CareerLink, and I double checked with Colleen and she did address some of that capacity. We're looking at around, we're at 50% also. We could usually see about 25 total people, but that gets you down to about 17 people in the office and maybe a staff that's helping with that event, maybe 6 or 7. But what you want to do is if you want to have an event in our office, you want to contact Colleen Chamberlain and ask about date, availability, how many people can you have, and then she would work with you with that. But we could be a nice center. We have plenty of parking. We can put up signs in the parking lot for you, and then we have staff there that can route your people to the right area and then help them while they're there work on their resumes so they can give them to you. That's what I have.
Very good. Thank you, Rich. Thanks for the nice plug. All right, this is another one that I'll go ahead and address. We were able to transition to remote work during the pandemic, but now want to bring employees back to the facility. However, several still want to work from home due to school-aged children, etc. What recommendations do you have? Well, if you didn't previously have a work from home policy for your company, now's the time to write one. We know that there are certain reasons why people must be given the ability to work from home. And sometimes it's a reasonable accommodation under the ADA, the Americans with Disabilities Act, and sometimes it's just good business practice. So if you have employees that are currently working from home and they're working from home effectively, even though you want to bring them back into the facility, you need to ask yourself a few questions when you're writing this policy. First of all, is it absolutely necessary for those people to be on site? When you have all of your people on site, is it going to be beyond your maximum 50% capacity within your facility? Also, can you do some hybrid models where you have some of your staff in the office for a couple of days a week or a couple of hours a day, and then transfer to a different number of staff members for the rest of the week or the rest of the day? So there's a lot of options that are available for you with work from home strategies. Consultants for human resources are a great place for you to go to ask some questions on how to build those strategies. The SHRM, which is the Society for Human Resource Management, has lots of information on their website about building those strategies and those policies. And honestly, if you just Google work from home policies, there are lots of other policies out there for you to look at and see how other companies are structuring their work from home. So a lot of things to take into consideration. Do they actually need to be on site, or can they work from home effectively as they've been doing? And how does that affect the morale within your organization, as well as those people who do have to be on site because of the nature of their position? Our next question, we have an employee who now has lasting health issues after recovering from COVID-19. Are there any resources to help us make accommodations? So Charmaine Jackson from OVR.
Okay, yes, hi. The employee could apply for OVR services to see if we're able to help. They can do this online through the PA CareerLink website. If they have difficulty with this, or maybe are not computer savvy, they can also call our office and leave a message if no one answers, since we're working remotely, and they will receive a call back from a staff member. Once the application is received, it is assigned to a counselor who will meet with the individual virtually for now, who will interview the individual, collect documentation that provides proof of disability, and determine eligibility. If the individual is determined eligible for OVR services, right now they will be placed on a wait list until OVR is able to serve them. However, there's a new program that just started. It's called Job Retention, which may help OVR eligible customers who are working with immediate services if they are in jeopardy of losing their job due to their disability. This program involves OVR working with both the customer and the employer. As of now, it does not cover seasonal employment or self-employment, and it must be the OVR customer's primary job. The OVR application for services has been adjusted, and we now have questions related to job retention that enable us to identify these customers and potentially move on more quickly to see if we can help them retain their employment. So that's just, that's been a big help for, helping people retain their employment.
Very good. Thank you so much, Charmaine.
Okay, thank you.
We need to get more laptops so our staff can work remotely, especially if the county goes back to red. Is there any funding left to help us buy computers? Linda Nitsch.
Yes, well, surprisingly, as of 10 o'clock this morning, there is a new program that's out there that may be able to help you. It is the EDA CARES Act Revolving Loan Fund. It is through Northwest Regional Planning's office in Oil City. And you can give our office a call. We'll be glad to help you with this. But basically, they have available anywhere from $5,000 to $500,000 for small businesses. That is businesses with less than 100 employees who've been negatively impacted by COVID-19. This loan program has a term of up to 8 years with an amortization period of up to 7 years. So therefore, year one, there would be a deferment of the first 12 months. The loans are at 0%, so that certainly is great news as far as having these dollars available. We had also heard that the County of Lawrence in the next 2 weeks will have some type of a program that will be reopened with CARES dollars. We're uncertain whether or not these dollars could be used for machinery and equipment. And you will need to be checking back on that. Again, call our office because I'm not sure who's going to be processing those particular loan applications or grant applications. Our office number will again be at the end of this presentation.
Thank you very much, Linda. We need to upskill our employees, especially those that aren't very computer literate and who struggled in a remote work environment. Are there any organizations that can help us with that? Jillian and Melanie.
Thanks, Colleen. So Adult Literacy Lawrence County may be able to help employers in 2 ways. First, directly. If an employer's need is such that providing instruction to a group of employees at the workplace to upgrade math, literacy, or computer skills is an option, Adult Literacy may be able to develop a tailored program of instruction for a fee to address these needs. For example, we've provided math remediation classes for a local employer to assist job applicants in passing the pre-employment test. If an employer wants to refer an individual to us, if they require assistance in these areas, for example, to pass an employment test or be considered for promotion, we may be able to connect the employee with a volunteer tutor to help them improve their skills at no cost. Secondly, we might be able to help indirectly. Any employee who needs remediation, whether or not they have a high school diploma, and that's important because I think many people think that our services are only for people that don't have a high school diploma. We can work with those students that just need to upgrade their skills. So we would be able to provide services to those people at regular classes, and those are provided free of charge. Our classes focus on developing math and literacy skills. So while the goal for the majority of students is to attain their high school equivalency, the skills that are developed are relevant to the workplace and everyday life. The use of iPads and laptops is incorporated into our classes to support students' ability and confidence to use technology. Indeed, since the shutdown in March, we have been providing instruction predominantly online, which has helped grow participants' confidence in utilising technology. We also are able to provide mailed packets of instruction to students not comfortable learning online. So while we're currently offering a schedule of remote classes via Zoom, we are hoping to introduce a combination of remote and face-to-face instruction mid-October. So for students that don't have access to a device, we may be able to assist with that. Some Lawrence County employers have supported their employees in attending our classes either by working with their schedule so that the employee can be available to attend classes. And there have been some employers who have actually paid their employees to attend our classes to upgrade their skills. So please contact me if you have any questions or ideas about how we could work together to help your business. Thanks.
And I'll just join in there to say that the Learning Center often works with Jillian's group, and we offer them support and the use of our computer lab for such upskilling of computer literacy and the various classes that she instructs. We also offer customized training, which would utilize our computer lab as well as our bank of laptops that we have available to make it, whether it's a remote learning situation or on site with us, we can work with the employer and the training provider. I can provide a link to our customized training form to get the ball rolling if that's something your company needs to address, especially with all the additional remote and virtual work that we have done throughout 2020. Thank you.
Very good. Thank you to both of you. So now we're at the Q&A portion. We did have 2 questions that came up in the group chat. One is, if an employee is admitted into the hospital, should they be allowed to return to work immediately or quarantine? If an employee is sent home due to a high temperature, how long should you make them stay home? So I'm just going to quickly respond to that because I did put a response in the chat box on it. We really recommend that you check the CDC and the PA Department of Health guidelines as you're writing your progress and your procedures for these situations. Have them ready to go prior to these situations happening. Those recommendations and guidelines tend to change regularly. So that's why we don't want to give you a pat answer on it. Refer you over to the PA Department of Health website and the CDC website for those guidelines. The second question that's in there is, due to COVID, the new company opening, Servax Next, was delayed. I see they are making progress with construction and signage for hiring. Can you update us on their plans for completion? So Linda or Rich, do either of you have any updates on Servax Next?
Yes, they contacted me about 2 weeks ago, and we did sign them, got their updating completed, and we did post a job for, I believe they had inside sales representative, 1 to 2 people. So that job posting is out there right now on our website. That's the only one he posted so far, but we do want to reach back out to him to find out what else does he need. And we do want to make a personal visit there. I'm just limited on personal visits, but I think right about now, I think I can. But he did post a job about almost 2 weeks ago.
Okay.
And then I want to add just one thing to my comment, and then you can chime in. I didn't turn my page over, but when I was talking about events and mass recruitment, the other thing was you have a hard event site, and you also want to coordinate that with a virtual site. As Charmaine mentioned, they're having a virtual job fair coming up, but you want to use your Zoom, your Team, your Skype, or your WebEx to also have a virtual job fair as well as a hard job fair. So that way you get the people that can be computer literate and the ones that don't want to get on computer and they want to visit in person. So I just wanted to add that to my comment there.
Okay. Thank you very much. Linda, anything?
And we have not met with the company recently. They met with us earlier this year when they were just beginning to do all of their renovations. I can't give you any update at this time other than saying when I look at the building, it appears that it is getting cleaned up and ready for use.
Okay, thank you very much. If you have any additional questions, please type them into the chat box or use the raise hand function, and we will go ahead and unmute you so you can ask your question. Just as a side note, all participants will receive a follow-up email from us with a link to the recording, as well as links for more information and the contact information for our panelists. I'm not seeing any hands being raised, so at this point we will assume that nobody has any additional questions. So our final question for today is, who do I contact for more information on my business questions? So here's the slide with everybody's contact information. Again, this slide deck will be sent out to everyone who attended today's presentation. We want to thank you for participating in today's Business Services Team webinar, Workforce Development in the Post-COVID-19 Environment. If you haven't done so already, please type your name and organization into the chat box so we can send all of our participants a follow-up email with a link to the recording, as well as links for more information and the contact information for our panelists. Thank you again for attending today, and we hope you all have a safe and healthy day.